Hi friends, Jaleesa here. So the last time I spoke to you guys, I shared some not so great news about finding another aneurysm. Well, things have changed, and this video explains it from my doctor's mouth. The good news. So I wanted to share with y'all because y'all have been on this journey with me. Y'all have seen the highs and the lows, and my last low was not a good low. But great news. We have great news, and so part of me sharing this is because y'all have been on the journey with me. The other part is God is amazing. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that in some like I will let me pick my words. I'm not saying it in some like I'm trying to be a churchy way. No, God really does love his children. And sometimes you go through tough times, but you keep the faith and you come out on the other side of this. So thank you, God, for loving me enough to allow me to still be here. Bye, y'all. I hope y'all enjoy the video. Listen, the video, when you see how I was recording a conversation. I had permission, but it's not. I'm not a YouTube girl. I don't know nothing about none of this. So just give me grace, okay? Love y'all. Bye. Okay.
Aneurysms where we started. He had a ruptured aneurysm that was basically pointing like this. Okay? So it has this big dome here, it has this base, and it has this branch that comes out of it. All right? The key in any kind of surgery, whether it be with open clipping, or be with stenting, or be with coils, is to occlude this, but keep this branch open.
Okay.
If we take this all the way down to here, we lose that branch. So we started with the coils. The coils occluded this and prevented that from re-rupturing. And then on follow-up, we saw that it started refilling up to here, up to about here. So then...
So the coils were supposed to stop the blood from going back in?
Yeah, so the coils act to basically close the rupture point.
Okay.
But you're still going to have a little bit of residual neck here because the coils would otherwise occlude this branch.
Okay.
That's the question?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's this green line?
That's the measurement of the length of the aneurysm here. So it's about
So
5.5.
this bulb burst is what you said?
That's right.
Okay.
This bubble burst. And we
Okay.
close the burst point, which is from up here.
Okay.
But we don't want to close the neck down here because then this vessel won't fill. Okay? So that gives you the background. You have to understand that. That's really important to see what you start with. Then we brought you back and we did a follow-up angiogram at the time of the cranioplasty, and we did following cranioplasty. And what we saw is that things looked really good, and we had basically the aneurysm closed off, this little branch was open, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yeah.
Then we went ahead and did a delayed study. Let's see the delayed study here. This is now when you came back, and what we're seeing is that coils got a little bit compacted. And what do I mean by compacted? Well, this picture might show it better, where we see some filling that goes up from the neck up this way. You see that?
See that red space?
The red space, exactly. Exactly, the red space. So the question is, what's the best way to do that? So what we did is we brought you back and we used a special little device called flow diverter.
Mm-hmm.
And the flow diverter, the little Fred X Jr., he's got a name, Fred. Fred Jr. because it's small. And we did a deployment there that was on September. Here's the Fred X. Shows some nice pictures here. So here's the Fred X. Right there.
Okay.
This beautiful
That
little...
looks exactly what I thought it looked like.
Right?
Mhm.
Thing of beauty, huh? Enjoy forever, right?
And that big blob was
The big blob is the coils,
Okay.
right? So it redirects blood flow into this vessel, but also into this vessel. We don't want that vessel to close off, right?
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
Okay.
So we then brought you back for a follow-up, and on follow-up, basically, that would have been April of this year, we saw that that vessel was still preserved, okay? And Dr. Liu measured this, it's basically a millimeter, 0.3, 1.3 millimeters, which allows that to fill this vessel, but the whole bubble is pretty much closed off.
Okay.
So that's all super good news. And here's some other views of that. We have some other views so you can see. You can see here. So that tiny little base there, that 1 millimeter of base, allows this vessel to fill.
Okay.
And this vessel here that has the stent in it is totally normal.
Okay.
So I don't worry about that tiny little 1 millimeter. That looks great.
Is that 1 millimeter, that's the baby aneurysm he was
No,
talking about?
that's the base. So imagine my head is the bubble.
Uh-huh.
And if there's a branch coming out of, like, my ear, for example, here, right?
Okay.
I don't want it to clot off to where that branch comes off. I don't want it to clot off down to here, because then I'll lose that branch and give you a stroke. In your case, all of this that had ruptured is closed off all the way down to the base, 1 millimeter base. And it hasn't changed at all on the follow-up MRI. So your follow-up MRI, basically, which is done here, that we looked at earlier, at the very beginning, I don't know if it got loaded on the system, shows basically the same thing. It shows what we've seen in the past, which is that very similar to the past. We have everything is occluded except for that tiny little base of 1 millimeter.
To be clear, I do not
Have a baby aneurysm.
There is no baby aneurysm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dr. Armanda, you
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah. So there's no baby aneurysm. So,
Oh.
so what it is, and the reason why that's important to understand is that you have basically a pattern of a blood vessel that comes out of the neck of the aneurysm. And because that vessel comes out of the neck, we have to keep that open. And so if the aneurysm basically is all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we occlude basically this portion, something like this, and this goes out. If this gets occluded here, like this segment, all this is gone.
Mm-hmm.
All this is gone. If we occlude this, what happens?
nothing gets in.
Nothing gets into this blood vessel to give you a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So all you have is you have a remodeling. You have a remodeling of this blood vessel to this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you don't have a baby aneurysm. You have a remodeling of the base of the aneurysm to fill this normal vessel, which is the way you were born before this developed.
Okay. So when Dr. Liu was using that reference, was he talking about the situation he just
He used the
explained?
wrong term, to be honest, because when people think of a baby aneurysm, they think of a separate vessel like this that's at risk for rupture.
And that's what you thought? Yeah, because that's what he
Because
said.
that's what he says, a baby aneurysm.
Mhm.
This is not a baby aneurysm. What this is that it's a remodeling of the neck, allowing this vessel to fill. And the reason why that's so important is because the neck remodeling is not at risk for a rupture the same way a baby aneurysm would be. A baby aneurysm, you worry about this dome. This doesn't have a dome. This has coils here, and then this has outflow. An aneurysm, by definition, doesn't have outflow. It's like a cul-de-sac. Blood flow comes in, can't get out.
Can't get out, okay.
It has to circulate down this way, right? This, blood flow comes in and it has an exit. It has an outflow. Aneurysms don't have outflow. This has outflow.
Oh my,
So you understand the different semantics?
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so, and I think that's really important to sort of discriminate, because I don't see, on the MRI nor here, something that needs to be retreated or that needs to be intervened on or anything. Yeah, that looks fine. And the vessel is open. So you had a more recent MRI, your MRI was done when?
In January.
Yeah, so this is what we see, it's been 6 months. We can do another MRI to look at that again. I don't think we necessarily need to do another angiogram.
Okay.
I think we can go ahead and follow with an